We carry a lot of things on our duty belts. One of the cheapest items and one of the most underrated items that you'll find on the law enforcement duty belt today is also one that sadly very few officers are actually carrying, and that is the tourniquet. Alright man, take a seat, buckle up. Ordinarily we'd start with orientation of the car here, but we got calls pending and we got to get to them. So, we're rolling. We're going to have to learn on the way. Now there's lots of different styles and brands of tourniquets. That's not really what's important. The most important thing is that you carry a tourniquet, and I will explain to you why. Tourniquets have become necessary because of another leap in technology that has become more and more available recently for law enforcement and security and everybody in public safety, and that is the vest. Most people who are in public safety today have a vest. Those that don't really should, but that's a topic for another video. The vest has limited the area where getting shot is immediately terminal for public safety personnel. If you get hit in the vest with most common threats, you're very likely to live through it. The reason that we carry tourniquets now more than in the past is because of a combination of advances in medical technology and understanding and the advances in the wearing and acquisition and mandatory wear of vests for security guards and police officers. Now, many years ago, the application of a tourniquet came with the assumption that you were going to lose whatever limb it was applied to. Now, modern technology has all but negated this. In fact, I have a friend who is a surgeon and a member of a SWAT team who on people's hands. And he told me that he has successfully cut all circulation off with a medical grade tourniquet to limb for 6 hours. 6 hours to do hand surgery, and the person kept the limb. There's documented cases in the field of using military type tourniquets for over 2 hours and people having no long-term ill effects from it. So there's now isn't the same stigma of using a tourniquet that there used to be. Now with the increased use of body armor, the areas that were most likely to get hit and get critically injured are extremities. The head, the arms, the legs, and the groin area, areas that aren't covered by the vest. The piece of equipment that covers these least obtrusively is the tourniquet. If you get hit in an arm or a leg, the round could hit a major blood vessel and cause you to bleed out. Carrying a tourniquet like this one, or a tourniquet like this one, for very little weight, covers you in case you get hit in a major blood vessel in an extremity. It doesn't matter much to me, and it probably shouldn't matter much to your agency, how you carry a tourniquet, as long as you do. If you're carrying a gun and you're wearing body armor, there's no good reason not to carry a tourniquet. They don't weigh very much. There's a bunch of different ways you can carry them. I know guys that attach them to the epaulets on their vest. I know people that have little tourniquet holders, like this one. This costs about 35 bucks, essentially doubling the price of the tourniquet. Both of these I paid less than $40 for. Or there's my favorite method, which is to take hair ties and just attach them to my duty belt. I found that hair ties work better than the black rubber bands that come with the tourniquet and holding it onto a belt, because they have a higher tensile strength, which means they're harder to rip off, but the hair ties are still delicate enough where in an emergency you could just rip them off and go. Now, I've heard arguments from some people that it's unlikely that you're ever going to need a tourniquet, and to that I share a personal story. A friend of mine was in a shooting, got shot in the leg, and when everyone else responded, nobody had a tourniquet on their person. So one of our detectives took his tie off, and thank God he bought an expensive silk tie, wrapped it around the guy's leg, tied it off, and used a magazine to create a tourniquet. Now, while yeah, you could create a tourniquet on the fly, now you're getting back to the problem of causing injury to people trying to help them, because you could create crushing damage to the person's leg if you don't use a proper wide tourniquet. So from that day on, most of the people at my agency started carrying tourniquets on our own, and then the agency got behind it and bought them for us. It was really a great thing that they did. We haven't had to use them since. It's only been a couple of years, but I'm happy to have it, and spread the message to everybody. If you're wearing a vest, you're carrying a gun, carry a tourniquet. I don't care how you carry a tourniquet. I don't care what type of tourniquet you carry, as long as it cuts off blood flow to that limb and won't do permanent damage, so that you won't hesitate to use the tourniquet on yourself or somebody else. Well, now, if you like that video, go ahead and subscribe, because there's a whole lot more to come. As soon as I finish up these calls, go 10-8. County 291.